Lovely winter's afternoon. I had a little window of opportunity to try and go for a flick. So I went down to one of my local areas. So I was stuck with about a 30-40 minute window. So I knew this place holds fish. The winter's been pretty mild this year. So I'm fishing upstream here and the water clarity is still pretty good. Often in winter it gets pretty murky and muddy after the big flood waters come in. Came back for a second bite, but I couldn't quite get him. Really close in. I'm just using my Shimano 2500 Stradic. I've got my TD Zero 2 to 5 kilo, which is pretty heavy. It's more of my flatty rod. But I wanted to go for some bream today because it's been a while. It wasn't actually too bad around this area because I'm going to have to drag fish up the bank because I'm going to walk through some fairly heavy structure. I've got 8-pound braid, but it's the DAIWA Expedition, so it's really thin. So it's pretty similar to sort of like your 4 to 6 pound braids from like 5 years ago. I'm using 6-pound leader, and then I've got a DAIWA Bait Junkie 2.5 inch, and it's in this yabby color, which I really liked. And basically just walking around flicking lures underneath these trees. It's on the the higher end of the tide anyway, so the water's pushed up over a lot of the logs and the trees around, so I'm hoping that I don't have to cast out too far and just poke lures around these heavy structure. So I'm just flicking under these branches here. I've got my polarized sunnies on so I can sort of see some of the logs that are underneath as well because the water clarity is pretty good. When I'm fishing here, I'm also trying to think about where am I actually going to land this fish as well. This type of area is really snaky during the summer periods where I'm a little bit more hesitant to go through here because I've got to walk through this thick scrub. I've got my Cooper on so I can use that as a bit of a battering ram as I'm walking through these sticks, particularly because there's heaps of spiders. My hat was just covered in webs after this. But you go to where less people fish, you'll catch more fish. So I'm just casting at the different logs here. You can see there's that sunken tree in there. I've caught a few fish here in the past, so I just kept on peppering lures into here for a little bit. I had these two bloody ducks having a barney. They were going at it. Because there's so many trees and structure around and branches where you're going to get your lure caught up, I'm just literally flicking my wrists when I'm making a cast rather than doing a big action. I've got a really little bit of my leader showing out the end, so it's important to have a nice tidy lure knot. Sorry, not a lure knot, the knot from your braid to your leader. So it's not hitting through those guides. That DAIWA Expedition braid sort of is really thin and it can fly out. You just got to watch out for, if it's windy, that it doesn't blow your braid onto leaves and other sticks and branches. There were so many mossies. They were all hatching right at the shore edge. So I was just flicking lures along the sides here, hoping that fish were schooled up, smashing these mozzies on the surface. Hooked him up just underneath that tree there. Had to drag nice and tight to keep him away from that bit of structure to the left there, that ramp or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Good chunk for the winter. It's always fewer fish, so when you get them in the winter, it's always a nice little dopamine hit. Thought I'd throw the lure right back in that same spot. Hooked up on the damn tree. Always the way. There was no retrieving this one, unfortunately. Bit too cold to wait out. To losing your lure, it's important to put a bit of tension on that line before you reel it in. Otherwise you end up with a big bird's nest on your reel, or you end up getting wind knots from having a really loose line. I was lucky enough to get another one off camera about 5 minutes later. Had it off accidentally, as always, but still nice to get a couple of bream for a quick session after work. Thanks for watching. For more bream and Swan River videos, please subscribe. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments section below.